can't say it enough times. I must preserve the gangster in my bloodline. I be on the front lines, mine like an archive. Sharp knife, dark skies, $500,000 on this hard drive. Penthouse, Parkside, Mo don't even count the bodies he caught in apartheid.
What's up, black people? Welcome to another unlawful arrest prevention video. On this channel, we analyze crowdsourced videos of traffic stops and arrests in order to educate citizens on the ways that law enforcement officers may break legal protocol. Watching videos of traffic stops and arrests helps us see the tactics and tricks that cops most often use to execute the unlawful arrest of a black person. By understanding their strategies, we can develop our own, which allows us to punish them financially later by bringing civil rights lawsuits and winning large payouts.
In this body cam video from 2019, a black woman and her 2 teenage daughters are unlawfully arrested for no reason while sitting in their car in a Starbucks parking lot. The woman in this video brought a lawsuit alleging her and her daughter's civil and constitutional rights were violated, and a California jury recently awarded her family approximately $8.5 million. There are only a handful of channels on YouTube dedicated to analyzing police misconduct, and this video has already been featured on all of them. The video has gone viral both because of the highly upsetting nature of the arrest, but also because of the size of the damages she was awarded in court.
However, in many of the other analyses of this video already out there, there is a lot of important information for black people that has been left out, and a deeper discussion of this stop is necessary for several reasons. First, this video highlights why, at Unlawful Arrest Prevention, we aim to make educational content that is useful, not only for black youth who have less life experience and may be more susceptible to illegal police tactics and tricks, but for black people of all ages. In this video, we see the police violating the rights of 2 different generations. The woman in this video could easily have been any of our mothers, and the 2 young girls could have easily been any one of our sisters or our daughters.
Second, it is easy to look at this video and read about the victim's lawsuit and think, damn, it must be nice to win $8.5 million. But few people are actually aware of what it takes to win those kinds of financial awards when suing a police department. What people do not see are the effort, sacrifices, and difficult decisions this mother made, as well as the risk she had to take in order to achieve this outcome.
As I analyze this video, I will explain what you should do differently if you ever find yourself in the same situation. My goal is to show other black people how to act in a manner that will not only help ensure your lawsuit is successful, but that may also dramatically increase the amount of money you are able to win from the city. If the police are going to continue to target innocent black people, including women and children, then we must remain organized and ready to make cities pay hundreds of millions of dollars annually to the black families and communities affected by police abuse. Before we get into the video, I want to provide some backstory that I have not heard included in other videos discussing the same incident. The woman in this video is driving from Las Vegas to San Francisco with her daughters to visit Berkeley College. One of her daughters was attending college in Nevada, but was hoping to transfer to a college in Berkeley near San Francisco. This daughter was scheduled to take a statistics exam on campus as part of her transfer application. This girl was probably a superstar in her high school, a top student at her current college, and a role model in her family. And her mom, like many of our mothers, is doing her best to help her daughter succeed by driving her the 9 hours to her exam so she can feel rested and supported when she gets there. 9 hours is a long time, so they decided to stop for Starbucks and take a little driving break. The entire family is arrested for doing nothing wrong, simply because the racist cop mistakenly believed the mother and her daughters to be members of a poor, ignorant, and legally vulnerable underclass on which police prey because they can get away with it. The cop did not get away with it, but only because this particular woman had the knowledge and the fortitude to bring a lawsuit and see it all the way through. Unfortunately, most instances of police misconduct don't even result in formal complaints, and that needs to change. With this backstory, it is also important to understand something else. The cops belong to what we at UAP refer to as the buffer class in society. In America, The wealthiest whites understand that they benefit from the highly racialized socioeconomic organization of our society. In essence, wealthy white society needs a way to prosper from an economic system built upon the constant exploitation of a racialized underclass without having to commit any racist acts themselves. By creating a buffer class made up of the most economically disenfranchised among their own race, wealthy whites can still benefit from racist policies without having to participate in their enforcement or feel complicit when they witness its consequences. The buffer class is composed of whites who would themselves be part of the underclass if the need for a buffer did not already exist. They are the most crass, gray-collar workers, and we see them all the time. Cops, prosecutors, DAs, used car salesmen, even most criminal court judges are all part of this buffer class. If a black person is able to break out of the underclass created for them and make it past the buffer class, he or she will be welcomed with open arms, and, as often is the case, wealthy white people will treat them more generously than they even treat each other. What does the buffer class have to do with this video? Well, if a black victim of police misconduct, like the woman in this video, is able to find and retain a highly respected, well-known, and successful civil rights attorney, and not a buffer class sham lawyer looking to drain her pockets, once this happens, once a vulnerable member of our society is able to align herself with someone like attorneys whose reputations are more valuable to them than the fees they could earn from any case, the black person has then successfully leapfrogged the buffer class that was created to prevent blacks from receiving fair justice. That is what the woman in this video did. She hired an extremely successful and respected attorney who was himself a member of elite society. She hired a law firm that had been recognized by legal professional societies, whose lawyers had won national awards, and that had a long track record of winning large settlements for their clients. As a result, her lawsuit was successful. Her lawsuit could have failed if she had hired the type of lawyer that exists in the buffer class, a lawyer who may want to be a great lawyer, but doesn't have what it takes in one way or another, and who still needs to make money. This type of lawyer could have just as easily gotten his client's lawsuit dismissed. Fortunately, in this case, the person advocating for the victim was a member of successful society, and not the struggling buffer class, whose members are bestowed with all kinds of bureaucratic positions and official titles that give them a small, exploitable degree of power over the average black American, in order to keep them distracted from the fact that they themselves are also kept poor, in order to fulfill the economic elite's need for a literal buffer to minimize interaction between them and America's most poor and vulnerable citizens. So we all know that this woman's family won $8.5 million. However, before this case got to trial, the police offered to settle for $700,000. At that time, her lawyer fees had already surpassed $1 million. That is because ethical civil attorneys do not charge you any money up front and only pay themselves a standard percentage, usually around 1/3 of whatever money they are able to win for you. But if the woman had settled for $700,000, she likely would have walked away with nothing. However, she turned down the settlement, took the case to trial, and was awarded $8.5 million by a jury. One of the officers involved in the stop was later promoted to captain, despite costing taxpayers in his city this much money. Many cops who have been sued remain on the force, which is just another reason you should always bring a lawsuit if your rights are violated. It means the cops who can't help but violate black people's rights get to stay on the streets. And if we are prepared and we know our rights and how to act and respond strategically to these types of police, then we should see this as an economic opportunity for new wealth creation.
Before we analyze the arrest footage, as always, here is the disclaimer. I am not an attorney. Please contact an attorney if you have an urgent legal matter. If you need help finding an attorney in your area, please submit a claim through unlawfularrestprevention.org, and we will do our best to help you find representation. 2. Unlawful arrest prevention and any videos associated with it are not for the criminally minded and are intended to help ensure legal recourse for citizens who become the victims of a civil rights violation. 3. Never, under any circumstances, tell a police officer that you are going to sue him during the course of a traffic stop or arrest.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
What are you guys doing here?
Waiting to go to Starbucks in a second. Why? Is there a problem? I can't sit here.
Well, actually, let me tell you why I'm here. Okay. I've been having auto break-ins in this parking lot every morning around this time.
Thank you very much.
So I've been driving around here.
Okay.
And I noticed that you guys aren't doing nothing but hanging out.
Yeah, I just got in from
And
Vegas.
Okay. Well,
This morning. I've been driving all night.
Okay.
Takes 8 hours to get here.
Well, relax. That's my reason why I'm talking to you.
I'm from here, so I'm not.
Okay.
We're in a car from the Bay Area, from Oakland.
Okay.
Just because it's got Nevada plates, it's not a.
It's not a Nevada car.
No, I'm not Nevada. I'm from
You have your ID
Oakland.
on you?
Yeah. Okay, so wait a minute. Now, why you asking for my ID? You just explained to me about the break-in.
Right.
But why did you explain to me about my ID? What's that about? What did I do? What kind of crime did I commit?
What kind of crime did you commit?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
haven't.
Ask me for my ID.
Yeah, you have to give me your ID.
Why do I have to give you my ID?
Why?
I don't have to give you my ID because I haven't did anything. You started talking about a break-in.
Okay.
I thanked you for informing me that.
Right.
I informed you that I'm resting because I'm about to go into Starbucks, right? I informed you I've been driving all night, right?
Well, Starbucks has been open for about 2 hours.
It's actually been open since 5. I checked my GPS. Okay.
Are you doing anything wrong?
No, I'm not.
So then what's the big deal?
I don't have to give you my ID. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. No, I don't. No,
You don't?
I know the law. I don't have to give you my ID. I'm not doing anything wrong. I have not did anything wrong.
So
I'm not did anything wrong.
So what you're doing now is leading me to believe that you might be doing something wrong.
No, I'm.
Now, this is something we have covered in other videos. The cop is obviously harassing this woman because she is black and alone with her daughters, and so he thinks he can get away with it. The cop is blatantly lying. You do not have to show your ID just because he says so. Cops can only demand that you show your ID if they have reasonable, articulable suspicion that you have or are committing a crime. However, cops are allowed to lie, and as you will see, cops fishing for an arrest will paint your behavior as suspicious however they can. Even if your behavior or your responses are completely natural and justified, cops will attempt to paint them as suspicious. Therefore, at UAP, we repeatedly stress the importance of having prepared responses. In this case, your prepared response, the phrase you would repeat is, "Officer, I will only show my ID under threat of arrest. Are you going to arrest me if I do not show my ID?" Again, "I will only show my ID under threat of arrest. Are you going to arrest me if I do not show my ID?" These prepared responses have been produced by the collective conscience of attorneys over decades of legal history. In response to the statement and question, "I will only show my ID under threat of arrest. Are you going to arrest me if I do not show my ID?" a cop is now faced with two choices. He either has to recognize that you understand your rights and then de-escalate the situation. Otherwise, you have literally forced him to say, "Yes, I will arrest you if you do not show me your ID." Now that is illegal and would be a lawsuit in itself. The cop here attempts to argue that the woman is being suspicious by exercising her right to refuse to show ID. This is why we advocate scripted, prepared responses, the kinds that have been formulated by lawyers over time. If you even sound anxious or panicked, a cop can lie and say he felt threatened if that's what it takes to get the arrest. A cop can say he felt threatened regardless of the situation or how bananas it seems to say that. For example, the cop here can say he felt threatened and that's why he arrested the woman, despite being a man with a gun with backup officers confronting an unarmed middle-aged woman with her 2 collegiate daughters.
Not doing that, so don't try to trump up no charges. I saw like get your phone out, start recording. Start recording right now, honey. Get on it on the phone. Get on it on the phone.
Why are you getting so worked up?
Because I gotta have protection. Because I don't know where this is about to go. I gotta have protection.
Well, it's not gonna go anywhere if you cooperate. So you see this thing right here?
We're not doing anything.
So this is my camera. Everything's being recorded.
Exactly, and I'm not doing anything. That's what did you hear me tell my daughters? Start recording as well.
Yeah, that's fine. They can record all day.
Yep.
So why are you making this a big deal?
Because I haven't done anything.
You said you're a local resident, or you're from here.
I said I'm originally from here.
Okay.
That's what I just told you.
Well, this could be a completely positive encounter.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you my ID because I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Call Annika right now.
Do you have a valid driver's license?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Okay.
I do. I wouldn't be in this car if I didn't. I can't rent a car without a valid driver's license. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I don't know that if you rented this car, right?
Well, what does that have to do? Did we commit a crime?
No, we didn't.
Right.
Okay.
So what do you need an ID for?
No.
So are you going to refuse to give me your ID?
I am because I haven't done anything. Call your superior. Call your supervisor.
I don't have to do that.
Yes, you do have to do that. Make sure you record that because I'm going. As soon as I leave here, I'm going to 150th and I'm going to the sheriff's department.
That's
and what
fine.
is your name? Give me your information.
I'll give you a card when we're done.
Yeah, give me. You got it? Okay, good. I'm going straight there. Straight there.
Okay. So
We're being harassed for nothing. We're being harassed for nothing.
it's not harassment.
Yes, it is harassment. Yes, it is. I have not did anything.
Okay, hold on, because you explained us the situation about the break-ins. We told you we just got in town, and you're still trying to tell us about an ID for what?
Right.
We haven't done anything. Did we break into something?
No.
we haven't.
No. Someone
Therefore,
called and
we
said
don't have
that
to
this
show
car
ID.
broke into not something. No, they didn't.
Did someone tell you this is a car you need to look out for?
Okay.
Exactly. No one did.
Well, guess what?
No.
I'm not in any rush. I can hang out here till you want to give me your ID.
I'm not. I want you to call your sheriff. I want you to call your superior, your supervisor. I'm asking for a supervisor right now.
Use the restroom because you
The woman in the video knows her rights and she is understandably upset. She can tell that this cop has gone off the legal rails and knows that means anything can happen. We can imagine how traumatic that must have been for her, especially with her 2 young daughters right there. However, I want to make 3 points. 1. Continue to repeat the phrase, "I will only show my ID under threat of arrest." Are you going to arrest me if I do not show my ID? After this, the woman should have not said anything other than, "I do not feel comfortable answering any more questions without a lawyer present." It is always better to say that than to try to reason with the cop or defend yourself when you weren't even in the wrong to begin with. 2. At one point, the mother tells one of her daughters to call someone. Unless you have already outfitted your car with hidden cameras and mics, then every phone should be used as a recording device so that no footage is lost. Don't sacrifice one of your recording devices to call someone who isn't immediately able to help, like an attorney, unless that person is going to coach you on what to say to the cops. Everyone should be recording so that the police officer cannot attempt to edit his body cam footage later.
I sell it.
Well, hold on.
Call 911. Call 911.
What is going on here?
I'm gonna call the police. I'm gonna call
Okay.
the police. I'm gonna call the police.
You're blocking my way right by our car. This off the truck.
No, we're not doing that. Okay, everyone in this car is detained. You can go back in the car and wait, or you can go in handcuffs and go in my car.
She's not gonna go. I tell her just get in the car. We're not detained.
Yeah.
I'm calling the police right now on
Okay.
you. I'm calling the police on you
What kind of
because you came up here and harassed me.
This is why the police.
Exactly.
Yeah, everyone
no,
in this-
we haven't done anything. Sit down. I
Just
tell her.
sit in the car.
Can you tell me
Hi, I
Just
need
sit
to
in
get
the car.
a police officer immediately to the Starbucks in Castro Valley. I'm being
Dirty one,
harassed
Adam.
by
You may be
an
getting a car
individual
from
that's
an
saying that they're a
unhappy,
sheriff
Contact.
for
Just
no
FYI.
apparent reason. For no apparent reason.
You can't even detain.
I don't even know if they are or not. I was sitting in my vehicle. I had dozed off for a second. Was going to go into Starbucks, and
Negative,
all of a sudden I
they're
get a
just
knock
the
on
cell
my
phone
window,
film and type, and
and the
they're on the phone
individual
with
starts
911.
talking about break-ins, and I'm like, what? And then I was like, okay. I saw it.
Okay, sit in the car or you're going in handcuffs. I'm not dealing with this.
I'm going to handcuffs and I have to use the restroom.
You can sit-
Can I
you can
buy
sit-
coffee from Starbucks
You
and you're
you
telling
can
me
sit in the car. You can sit in the car.
What am I saying?
Last option, last chance. Sit in the car. You're going to handcuffs.
Handcuffs for what?
Handcuffs for what? She had
Dirty
handcuffs
one, Adam.
for
We'll
what?
start us up there.
That was one of the things. You're being a really too excessive right about now. You're being real excessive right now. That's
Okay.
one of the reasons why we
Okay.
stopped here too. For me to get coffee, and I was telling her to get up so she could go to the restroom. Oh no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to violate and victimize us.
31, Adam. Well, we just occupy times 3.
What if she
We got 2 of them out of the car
Do you
just
hear
running
yourself
all
right
around,
now?
filming us,
This is why the
impeding
noise.
the
Wait,
investigation.
I have
do you
an
hear
individual
yourself
here.
right now?
Hello?
What you saying? Do you have an
I
answer?
am in Castro
Do you have
Valley
an answer for
Starbucks.
that?
I just spoke with somebody and I got hung up on.
Do you have an answer for my question? You do not. Thank you very
Okay, here comes another car.
You don't have an answer. Sir, do you have an answer to why she's been detained? How we committed
Castro Boulevard.
We're just nothing. We're doing nothing.
Okay, they don't want to listen to us, so let's go ahead and detain these two.
No, you're not going to detain them. No, you're not going to detain them. We haven't did anything. We haven't did anything. We have not did anything.
Do not start the car. Get out of the car.
No,
Get out of the car.
I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
No, I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
No, I'm not. I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
I'm rolling the window down.
Get out of the car.
I see it's rolled down.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
No, I'm not.
Get out of the car.
I haven't did anything. I'll get out. Just don't pull on me. I'll get out.
All right, get out of the car.
Call the police.
Get out of the car.
Get somebody here.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. This is your last chance to get out of the car, or I'm placing you.
No, you're not placing me under arrest.
Or I'm placing you under arrest.
I'm calling someone.
Get out of the car.
I am. You don't have to pull me. I'm getting out now.
Then get out.
Stop it.
Then get out.
Now, what the cop does here, right before he manhandles and handcuffs an older mother in front of her children, is super ill. The woman knows she did nothing wrong, and she is scared, so she is trying to call the police in order to get a supervisor. But as you can hear, the cop on the scene is simultaneously telling the dispatcher not to send any more units because he has the situation under control. As a result, the 911 dispatcher keeps hanging up on the mother. This is an ill tactic cops use a lot in order to make innocent citizens feel scared and isolated, so that the cop can, as the woman put it, attempt to victimize them.
You're gonna get in a lot of trouble. So
That's fine. Stand right here. Stand right here. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. You're being detained.
No, I'm not being detained. For what?
You're being detained.
For what?
Put your hand behind your back, or you're gonna go to jail.
No, I'm not going to jail. And you're not going to. We're getting the attorney. We're getting an attorney right now. Record everything. We're getting an attorney. We're getting an attorney. No, we're getting an attorney. We're getting an attorney. We're getting an attorney. The minute.
You're not following any of my instructions.
We haven't done anything.
I haven't even committed a crime.
Exactly.
Put your hands
Don't
behind
worry.
your back.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to the sheriff's department right now.
We have two detained, working on the third.
We're getting an attorney.
Walk
We haven't done anything.
Walk over here.
I haven't done anything. I'm getting
Walk over here.
I haven't done anything.
Face this car.
I have not done anything. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I don't have no weapons on me. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry.
You can't even answer me.
Hey, don't worry. We're going to go to the sheriff's department. Don't worry. Don't worry. I said y'all think.
Put your hands behind your back, or you're going to jail. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
You're going to get fired.
You're going to jail.
You're going to get fired.
That's fine.
You're going to get fired. You watch. Don't worry,
That's fine.
Asala. We got a lawsuit. Don't worry, because we haven't done nothing. We got a lawsuit.
No, I haven't.
We have a lawsuit.
Wait,
Don't worry, we have a lawsuit.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands
We have
behind
a
your
lawsuit.
back.
Don't worry.
That's fine.
We have a lawsuit. Excuse me, officer. Can you?
The mother and daughter are understandably upset and scared. They are reacting as most of our mothers and sisters would in the same situation. Therefore, I am in no way criticizing them for not remaining perfectly calm and collected. However, at UAP, our goal is to help black people win as much money as possible when they bring lawsuits for police misconduct. In police misconduct cases, the most important evidence is always the body cam video and audio. The audio receptors on body cameras are not very high quality, and they are usually positioned on the cop's chest area, well below his mouth. This means that if you yell, raise your voice, or even talk frantically, you risk drowning out whatever the cop is saying on the audio recording. The audio receptor is positioned so that your voice will often sound much louder. You do not want to risk the jury not being able to hear the cop saying something that can be used to help your case just because your voice was too loud to hear what he said on the recording clearly. This would be a best-case scenario for a racist, crooked cop trying to defend himself in court. Therefore, it is always best to remain silent except when speaking your prepared statements. Also, we say this in every video, but don't tell the cops you plan to bring a lawsuit. This puts the cops on guard and may lead them to start getting their lies straight and editing the body cam to match their news stories. If you are going to bring a lawsuit, it is always more effective to take them by surprise. You don't want the cops to start preparing, especially if that means losing evidence.
You make some sense out of this? We haven't done anything.
All right, walk with me over here.
We haven't done anything.
We're detaining a third.
We haven't done anything. We haven't done
We're in code
anything.
4.
And all of a sudden we're getting arrested? Wait a minute.
Is this car open?
We did.
Is this car open?
We haven't, excuse me, we haven't did anything. So can you get your, I asked for, I don't have a weapon on me.
I'm just
I
checking.
asked for his superior, his supervisor. I asked for a supervisor.
Grab a seat.
This is not how things work, ma'am.
No, what are you talking about? This we haven't did anything.
Take your feet
You
up.
don't demand what we do.
No, I'm not demanding anything.
We do with the car, 28, everything, and the 6 and all that.
Not yet. 31 Adam. Can I get the last 6? Copy and matches.
Right now, you're not putting your foot in the car.
I'm asking you
You're
why
not following our instructions.
resisting. I'm asking you a question. Why am I being arrested?
Right now, you're being arrested because you're
So
not
what did I
listening
do
to
to
us.
be arrested? What led up to this? Can you answer that honestly? You cannot.
You won't let me. You won't shut up. You won't let me. You won't shut up. You won't let me. You won't shut up.
This is why you don't reason with the cops. As you just heard, a police officer, a grown man with a gun, just screamed from the top of his lungs at a scared, handcuffed teenage girl, "You won't shut up." That's the type of person you are dealing with when you deal with cops. For any adult man or woman watching, imagine what it would take for you to scream at a teenager, a child that you've never even met before like that, let alone after you've already terrified and handcuffed them for no reason. Most cops' minds are too far warped to see reason or logic, let alone self-reflect on their own personal decency. Even the decision to become a cop in the first place may be an indication that one's brain does not work well. The best thing you can do in this situation is remain silent. It will not only help your lawsuit, it may also help keep you safe. As you can see, the cop is illegally searching the mother's car, purse, and wallet. At the point you are either removed from your vehicle or handcuffed, always say, "I do not consent to a search of my vehicle or my person." Always remember to say it just like that, enough times to be confident that every officer has heard you and that it is audible on all of their body cameras. If you are silent on the issue, a cop's attorney will attempt to argue that the officer did not need your consent.
Where's your captain? Where is your captain? Where is your captain? Where is your captain? I didn't do anything wrong.
Are we good over here?
Where is your captain?
Okay.
Sir, you're hurting me. I haven't done anything to be done. Want me to do something to you?
No.
Like, really? You really?
No. Yeah.
As you can hear, one of the daughters is pleading with the cops and getting emotional. While that is understandable, remember, the cops are part of the buffer class. On a day-to-day basis, Most cops are trying to get their arrests by doing as little work as possible. Like I said, if they can claim you were hysterical, then they will also claim they felt threatened and were forced to detain you. Cops claim they feel threatened all the time, and aren't even embarrassed to do so when the threat is a group of 3 unarmed collegiate women stopping for Starbucks. That is because cops live in an insulated world within the buffer class. What's to be embarrassed about when you and all of your buddies are already as much a social outcast as any of the criminals you catch?
I need to identify who you are and your relation to this car and to the people. So,
where's your driver's license at?
It's in my wallet.
Okay, which one's that?
It's my black wallet.
The black wallet? Is that in the purse that was right by your feet?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The woman should have said, "My wallet is in my car, and I do not consent to you entering or searching my vehicle. Under threat of arrest, I will go and retrieve my ID from my wallet myself." By describing what her wallet looked like and where in the car it was located, the officers will argue that she indirectly gave them consent to enter and search her vehicle, which they did already anyways.
Well, I'm going admin while I
Admin?
talk to my partners.
Figure out what is going on.
Now I'm just going to let the video play out, but I want everyone to be clear. After this point, there is no more audio. That means the cop has turned off the audio on his body camera, and he did so right as he was about to explain to another officer who just arrived what happened. The cop has turned off his body camera for one of 2 reasons, either because he is lying to the other officer about what just happened, or because he knows what he is about to say may amount to an admission of racial profiling and several breaches of protocol. The officer wouldn't want either to be recorded. At this point, he never turns the body camera audio back on. Cops are supposed to ask a supervisor for permission before turning off their body camera audio or video, but cops rarely do so. This is why it is not just important to have hidden cameras, but strong audio recording devices in and around your vehicle. If this woman had a hidden boom-style mic outside her car, she would have caught this entire exchange between the officers. Who knows how that would have positively affected her lawsuit? It is very likely she would have had a recording of the officer blatantly admitting to several unconstitutional acts. To re-emphasize, this woman's family won $8.5 million in 2023 for a stop that occurred in 2019. They had to fight 4 years, and if she had taken the city's initial settlement offer of $700,000, she would have walked away with nothing. One reason she was able to win such a settlement is because she jumped over the buffer class by doing her research and hiring a lawyer who was well known and respected within his profession. Buffer class is a fitting term for the majority of lawyers whose primary concern is squeezing money out of desperate people because they will likely be the greatest barrier between you and a successful outcome for your lawsuit. If a civil rights attorney ever demands an upfront payment and says he will pay himself by taking a percentage of the final settlement on top of that, do not hire him. If a lawyer is taking a percentage of your settlement, which is called a commission, but also makes you pay out of pocket for his expenses, do not hire him. If a lawyer can't give you easy to understand straight up answers and responds to all your questions about the case by saying, "It's all about relationships," or "I know the judge," or anything like that, don't hire him. That's actually not true. If a lawyer says things like, "This case will be harder to win," or "You are gonna get less money because of your past criminal record," do not hire him. If a lawyer has a lot of billboards or TV ads, probably don't hire him. Respected lawyers tend not to advertise this way, as their biggest clients come by word of mouth. And just because I've seen this a lot, if a lawyer brags to you about how much money he makes as a lawyer, do not hire him. When your rights are violated by the police, you don't want to hire a sham lawyer to argue against the police department's lawyer. To the judge, this will just be two members of the buffer class arguing with each other, doing what they're meant to do. To win an $8.5 million settlement like this woman did, you need to hire a lawyer who is motivated less by the money and more by the desire to maintain his or her reputation for successful outcomes and integrity. For lawyers who achieve a certain level of success, this becomes more valuable currency than any fees they can earn from a single client or case. Just so you can see, this is one of the lawyers who represented the victim. You can see his recognitions, his professional associations, many of which he has held leadership roles in. You can see the courts he has argued cases before. In his bio, you can even find examples of past cases where he won large settlements for his clients. That is why UAP is working hard to publish a national database listing each state's most reputable civil rights attorneys. Our aim is to make it as quick, easy, and low risk as possible for Black people to find competent representation when police violate their rights. So before we go, one final message. Although never our intended audience, it's become apparent to me that a number of the people watching UAP videos and following the channel are either current or former police officers. Also, the cops who watch this channel and follow the Instagram do so under Finstas or fake accounts. To all the police watching, you don't need to hide. And if you really want to know, here is what our ultimate goal is. UAP's mission, what we want, is for the police to treat all Black people the exact same way they treat wealthy, well-connected white people. Once that happens, there will be absolutely no use for this channel anymore. What would our objective look like in practice? It means cops would not arrest Black people unless they were 100% absolutely certain that one of us had committed a crime. Cops would not pull us over unless, of course, we committed some egregious traffic violation. When cops did pull us over, they would quickly and respectfully issue us a traffic citation and then allow us to be on our way. They wouldn't detain us as long as possible while they looked for other reasons to arrest us. When this is the reality, UAP, this channel, will have no reason to exist. But until that happens, this is the clearest path to change. To train Black people on how to stay safe in the face of police misconduct, while also strategically positioning themselves to bring a successful civil rights lawsuit. Thank you for tuning in to another Unlawful Arrest Prevention video. You can always reach out to us at uap@unlawfularrestprevention.org if you have an attorney to refer to us, or if you need help finding representation in your state, or if you would just like to submit a video for us to analyze.
This shit to win and not get tricked by no cave bitch. At the end of the day, we free whole towns from enslavement. BGFO, where they could be with the nation. Change a nigga whole life with a single conversation. 3 heroic deeds or you a bitch, that's on babies. 3 heroic deeds or you a man-shaped lady. I put you on the list, raised you up and gave you training. I said 3 heroic deeds is the way you should repay.